Scorpio, what is going on? Thank you so much for tuning in. I super appreciate your time and energy always. Oops, I'm Deborah. Hold on. The separation card popped out. It actually popped out while I was shuffling earlier too, just as a heads up. We'll see if it comes up in the reading. So yeah, I'm Deborah. Welcome, Purusha Holistic Wellness. My channel is Purusha Intuitive. Everything mind, body, spirit, wellness. So the tarot, oracle, any form of divination is a great way to see into our situation, what we're dealing with, that we, aspects that we might not necessarily see. And then it helps us navigate through things a little bit better. So this reading is for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. You can be a cross watcher. It really doesn't matter. It's timeless as well. I'm doing this at the end of December, if that's important to you. Otherwise, I really believe it's about whether the message resonates or not. Then you know it's meant for you. So obviously the situations will be different, but the energy is the same. All right, guys, with that, let's get going. All right, Scorpio. All right, so reminiscing, I feel like there's a little bit of fixating on the old, and not specifically in a good way. This is a lot of rehashing, right? And not specifically, this is within yourself, overthinking, replaying events, etc. Trying to rack your brain. What went wrong? Why aren't things working out the way that they want? You're leaving something behind. And obviously, even though when change happens, when we have to let go of person, place, or thing, it also talks about new beginnings. But I feel like I feel like this has kind of been a harder ending for you. And so you're still stuck in the past is what it's showing you. Yeah. So be mindful. Be mindful as you move forward, because it's like, okay, so I say this with all the love, right? But the way it comes through is it's like you're reflecting, you're thinking, it could be just constantly over and over and over again in your mind, but then you're not specifically switching the actions or the behavior. It's actually like repeated cycles. And that House of Cards talks a lot about how, I think this is about like learning the lesson and moving through it and choosing to do things differently. Where instead you're like, that sucks, I really hate that. Well, let me see how I can work around it, And essentially with that, oh, it's Hand of Cards. I thought it was House of Cards. Well, same difference. Oh yeah, self-sabotage. It confirms right there. So that House of Cards is like, we kind of build our foundation on quicksand, right? It's when we don't have that solid, secure. So this is going to be something that repeats itself unless you choose to look at it, because again, with this hammer, this is that self-sabotage energy, right? It's like when we have something good and then we end up kind of destroying it. I think that, was it Leo? You might be coupled with a Leo. Maybe you have Leo in your chart, but it was like the same message. Leo or Cancer, I can't remember right now. I apologize. But, like I said, there's reflection. There's kind of like, oh yeah, not really wanting the change, but not really doing anything about it to switch. How this is all unfolding. So let's look at this a little bit deeper. Yeah. What I like about the hammer energy is it does talk about, this could be with family, long-term commitment, someone that you're really close to, partnership, etc. But the Hierophant really speaks to tradition. There's that fire sign, right? So Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. The Hierophant is Taurus energy, earth energy. You could be paired with an earth sign. But it looks, you know, I feel like this is really talking about how whatever you were dealing with, yeah. Ooh. So whomever you were dealing with chose to start over, chose to start fresh. And there you are as that Knight of Wands energy, just not even really like paying attention. I feel like you almost don't want to acknowledge it, Scorpio. Obviously, this could be situation reversed. It depends on the energy. But the way it comes through, like I said, you're not even really, neither of you are paying attention to each other, you know? It almost feels like, you know, there was an ending and that's it. And there was nothing else said. And I don't, you know, like as if you guys fought and then never talked about it again, never worked it out. It's just like done and over with. And so this Queen of Wands over here is focusing on what she's cultivating and building. And this guy, potentially you, Scorpio, just wants to party, which it's a good time of year to do so, I suppose. Yeah, but you know, I mean, it's fresh start. It's change for both of you. Let's pull a little bit more on the person you're dealing with. Okay. Yeah, they're in a space where they're doing a lot of healing, a lot of growth. It does feel, yep, and especially around family, lineage, ancestral roots, healing that karma, healing that generational wounding. Lots of earth energy. We got Aquarius, 9 of 10 of Pentacles on the board. So this is someone who made a choice to leave this situation, but they're leaving it because it's, you know, whatever you guys had together, it wasn't really vibing with them, you know. This connection, you guys could have worked together for sure. There is a lot of energy, earth energy on the board. Maybe this is someone that you kind of had a business relationship with, you worked closely with. I guess my concern is, and this is kind of like how we talked about in your overarching energy, is it's almost just like you're not really even paying attention, you know? And I get it, Scorpio, right? Like you're water sign, so water energy can be pretty intense. You know, you got to feel all the feels, and that sometimes is not very fun. And especially with Scorpio energy, it can kind of take you down to the depths, right? It's ruled by Pluto, Lord of the underworld, you know, where we have to look at our shadow self. And those water energies can be really, really challenging. And it, like I said, this person, no shade to you, man, but they are vibing a little bit higher vibrationally, you know. They're a little bit more put together. You're kind of the one that's not showing up in a very mature light. Let's look at that. Yeah. Spending a lot of time by yourself, not showing up. If this is a ex-partner, then this is definitely not really being available, you know. You might struggle with some anxiety, some fear, right? Going back to like replaying those thoughts over and over again. That's a really hard space to be in, right? We get trapped in our mind, you know, and it's hard. It's really hard to see things rationally outside of that. Hermit energy, you know, you're kind of holding yourself. And again, I think it's like, it's almost like stunting you. It's keeping you at a lower vibration. It's not fun to look at the places that, you know, maybe we messed up, maybe we were hiding, maybe we weren't being fully available, you know, maybe we were self-sabotaging. Like all those things are really challenging, right? But when we look at them and work to heal them and move through them and make different choices, then that means that we're not going to attract that same type of energy, same type of person or toxic relationship into our life. And that's really what it's about, you know. I do see you doing a lot of self-reflection, But there's a lot of pain here too, which I think makes sense, right? Because like I said, this was a very committed connection. Someone who was in your life for a while. I feel like you're seeing a lot of, like, it almost, like I said, you guys aren't really talking. That's the sense I get. So it's like all you really have is yourself, your own thoughts, your own feelings, your own pain around this situation. And like I said, it's hard to see clearly, right? Because if we get on a loop in our mind about a situation or how something happened, or, you know, that person was trying to screw me over, or, you know, whatever it is that we tell ourselves, that can be really dangerous too, and hard to get out of, right? And again, no shade, we all do it. It's like human nature, you know? But you're not really allowing yourself, yeah, see, exactly. This is how you want to be vibing as that King of Wands, and this is how you are. And you might not be 100% aware of that. I think sometimes wand energy, fire energy, it gives us a little bit of arrogance, a little inflated ego. We think we know better, etc. That's just kind of how that fire energy is. And yes, sometimes that's true, but sometimes it's not. And I feel like, especially, like I said, if you guys aren't talking, you might not know the other person's side. You might not understand why. And so instead of making up stories about what you think it is, there still is this need for you to kind of, you know, I mean, I don't know. It doesn't feel like you guys are really on talking terms. I don't get the sense that that's something that you really want to go back into, is kind of how I'm hearing it, which is totally fine. But sometimes it's good to bring in, you know, another person, a friend, etc., because you're limiting yourself. And I don't even know if you see that, right? But that kind of goes back to that self-sabotage energy. You're limiting your own happiness. So this is what you're withholding, right? You're withholding being, you know, more put together, more mature, more at the top of your game. Eight of Swords is, like I said, when we feel limited, sorry to be redundant, but when we feel limited, but actually we're the ones that are keeping ourselves from what we want. And what you're keeping yourselves from is that emotional fulfillment and happiness and joy and like just all the blessings, right, that life has to offer. And you don't deserve that. You deserve the best, Scorpio. You deserve to be fabulous. You deserve to let that light shine, right? And I feel like you're coming, this is basically showing that you're seeing that as time is evolving. You're seeing the places that maybe you were a little scandalous, that you were unfair in this exchange, you know, that maybe you were trying to control and manipulate the situation. And it is bringing out this level of disappointment. But again, I know it's easier said than done to self-reflect and kind of be honest, especially when we mess up or, you know, when we didn't act in the way that really was in alignment with who we are. That's a hard thing to do, 100%, you know. But I feel like when you acknowledge this to yourself, if you feel like reaching out to this person, go for it if it's a good thing. If it's just going to be the same old story, then it's probably better to just make the peace within yourself, you know? Because I feel like, I mean, especially right now, you know, you're not necessarily in the space where you're ready to connect with them. Maybe once you get to this space of like understanding where you kind of showed up in not the best way. Yeah. And this is like clearing out the old, right? Cleaning out the closet, right? Letting go of, getting rid of the BS, the places that this is all about, like, again, selling ourselves short, right? when we trick ourselves, when we delude ourselves into thinking we're doing the right thing or going about it in the right way, where subconsciously we feel that it's not. And then we end up, again, self-sabotaging. Like I said, this is a consistent cycle for you. So Spirit is asking you to look at it so that you don't have to keep going through this thing over and over and over again. And I feel like you will. I mean, the energy is definitely leading there for you. It is a little bit painful. And, you know, this time of year is so hard. Yeah, looking at the places where it is poisonous, where it's toxic to your own life. Like I said, this time of year is so hard. You know, the holidays, all different kinds of stuff pops up. But like I said, your power is actually in acknowledgement. Yeah, you might have to feel your feels. It might be super shitty, but it's going to help you so much more than what you can even imagine. So I hope this helps, Scorpio. I'm sending you so much love to your situation. If you're interested in me looking at it into a little bit deeper, definitely check out the services I provide. Otherwise, if you liked the video, you know the drill. Like, share, subscribe, check out other content, drop me a comment. I would love to connect and grow with you for sure. I appreciate your time and energy. Lots of love and light. Thank you.